Hey dude, more of a serious question this time. Where do you find your motivation? I always have a lot of projects I want to work on, but I never get myself to actually do it. So I was wondering if you have any advice regarding this. Thanks. Great question. So, actually, should I get a new map for this? Nah, let's stick to this one. I like this one. Fuck, brain farting. Oh yeah. So when it comes to motivation, right? Usually people... I mean, there's two camps of people when it comes to making shit creatively. The people who rely on motivation, and then people who rely on discipline. Like maybe some people like kind of rely on both, but like you tend to see a lot of like people saying, "Don't rush art. Only do it when you want to. There's no harm, no foul." And then, oh shit, can I make it through? Oh, and then the other camp of people are those who read like the art of war, some book called The Art of War by Stephen Pressfield. I know I sound like a boomer citing books, but all you need to know is that book's entire attitude is, I only write when I'm inspired. Thankfully, my inspiration shows up every weekday at 9 in the morning, which is basically saying like, discipline is when you're like, shut up, I don't care if you're inspired, just finish the damn thing already. And you can't have too much of one or the other, is what I've learned over the years, because like, what is it? I'll admit, I leaned a lot more towards discipline when I was like doing stuff on Wave Show and even my older channel, Robot Underscore, right? But it's fucking soul draining, obviously. Like, yes, you get shit done, and it's important to get shit done, but like, sometimes it's like squeezing a dry sponge and there's no more water left to squeeze out or some shit. And what's I going with this? Fuck my brain. It's so dusty and empty. Sorry, I woke up at like 3 o'clock today, and right now it's like 5, so you have to bear with me for a bit here. You really want to find like a... Well, okay, so let me actually answer the question. Sorry, I already started the ramble. So, where do you find motivation? Well, the answer to find motivation is you have to actually want to make actually know what you want to make, right? And you may be thinking, shit. Because maybe some people don't know what they want to make, and to which I say, that's fine, just explore for a bit and try shit out. But like, if you're trying to make something and you find that you don't want, like you have this thing in your head saying, I want to make this, but I'm so bored by it, I can't fucking do it. Then you have to ask yourself first, do you even want to do it, right? Because like, let's use my shit as an example. Stickman 2020, right? Let's say there's a video I want to make and it's like, oh god, I really don't want to fucking make this video, man. It's just shit, I have to make these models, I have to animate it, I have to record audio, I have to put it all together, right? Because you have to keep that in mind. If there's something you want to do, you also have to take in mind all the steps that come with it, right? You can't just think about only the big picture. If you're working alone anyway, if you have infinite money, you can hire people to do shit, then why are you watching this? But what I was really trying to get at is that first question, which is, because like I said, motivation and discipline work together. So the first question is to establish the motivation. Do you want to do this thing, right? Because if you're actually not that all interested in like saying like, oh, I want to make this video, but honestly I don't really care about the video itself, I just want to make the video so I can get views. In that case, the motivation is wrong, and you're not going to finish the thing at all. But then comes the situation where it's like, no, I really do want to make this thing. I wanted to bring it to existence, and I want to make it happen. I really wanted it to happen so badly, right? And then from there, that's when like, you know, the motivation check is cleared, and then comes in the other half, discipline, where it's like, okay, you want to do it, you're going to have to force yourself to, right? So it's like, if you know what you need to do, and you know how to get it done, you just have to like, do whatever it takes to just like, get yourself to do it. Not oh, I'm not going to game this week until I finally finish this part, or I'm not going to buy this new game until I don't know why I keep using games as an example. Wonder why I'm playing a video game. I'm not going to buy this game if I don't finish this part of the video by this time, right? Don't forget to break it up into chunks, by the way. Don't like fucking throw yourself at a brick wall and not break down like your big project into chunks. But yeah, if you really want to do it, and you really do have like the motivation saying, yes, I want this to happen, I just can't do it for some reason, then you really have to just you have to enter Vietnam War mode and just hunker down and get it done, whatever the cost. And then once you're done, you can like go back to the motivation again, saying, I finally got it done, but was it worth all the effort? Do I still want to make stuff like that, right? So you can see how it works like a twofold process, where you don't want to just brute force discipline everything, or you're going to be depressed. You'll have really nice stuff, but you'll feel really depressed and maybe work really inefficiently. And then with motivation, like, that's the big thing. That's the first step. It's like the foundation to discipline in a way. It's like, do you want to do this thing? Like, do you actually are you actually doing the thing you want to do for the right reasons, you know? It's like a big thing with me when I was first learning Blender. It's like learning everything is important and all that, but at some point you're like, why am I sitting through this tutorial about animation and rigging? I really just do not care about setting up so much of this, modeling so much detail and putting this much time and effort into making a rig and this complicated animation. I just want to get to making the video part itself. To which I say, okay, great, time for me to veer off from the Blender 3D tutorials and start just making my own stuff with the knowledge I know, which is how I got to Stickman 2020, as you see with like those really puppet-like animations, because I don't give a shit about doing all that myself. I just want to finish the damn video. That's the motivation for that, rather than me saying, oh man, if I want to be a good 3D artist like everyone else says, I gotta make this really nice looking model, I gotta make this really nice looking animation, I gotta do it so I'm a good 3D artist, then I can make my videos. No, wrong. Just do the thing you want to fucking do, right? Of course, and be sure to, oh shit, is that a dead end? Be sure to actually factor in the different facets of getting that project done too, as part of the motivation of, do I actually want to do this? So you really, really, really want to like double, triple check saying, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure you want to do this? Do you know what you're going to do? If you don't know what you're going to do, is there any way to make it simpler? If you don't want to do this certain thing, can you switch out another part so it's something that you are more interested in? What specifically of the process do you like doing versus other things, right? How much of the bullshit are you willing to put up with? You really want to investigate like the motivation. You really just want to ask, do I want to do this? Do I want to do this at every single step of your plan? And if there is not a single doubt in your mind, and if it is entirely laziness, then you really just have to, like I said, you really have to corner yourself into doing it. Like, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get brutal. Just trying to get it done. Like you've heard my story of the fucking $270 nightmare. I think it was $270. I forgot the amount. The nightmare I did to get the final episode of Stickman 2020 out before 2021 at January midnight. Right. So like I said, if you want something done and you've investigated thoroughly at every point with your plan, saying, yep, I want to do every single part of this. If I don't want to do single parts, I'll swap them out with a part I do want to do. And you say, yep, I'm ready to go. I want to do this, but I still can't do it. For motivation will not help you. You have to like go discipline, right? But do not overdo it on the discipline. Do not force yourself into doing something you don't want to do. But don't cut yourself too much slack. See how it's kind of a weird balancing game, right? It might take a while to figure out, but honestly, I hope that explanation saves you a lot more pain than I did trying to figure that balance out, because it took me a while to realize that. So please, I hope you take that advice and get something out of it, because it'll save you so much time. All right, let's go refresh the map. Move on to the next question. My noise cancellation doesn't capture my paper noise. Okay. Ooh, holy shit! Look at this map. Let's save that. Save. God, there's so many fucking maps I have. Yep. Okay. Cool. Next question. Hi, Wavetro. I know you animate in Blender, so my question is, have you ever thought about branching out to other animation softwares like Maya Engine? Thanks, a viewer. Great question. The answer is no. Oh fuck. That timing. It's actually, I don't know what it is. This doesn't happen with me with video editors. This doesn't happen with me with audio editors. This doesn't happen to me with any other like program. It is only with me and my 3D modeling and my visual effects with 3D and all that stuff. I cannot pick up another 3D program for some reason. I took a college class like a year ago for Maya, and I fucking hated the program so much. Not just because, like, by the way, if you're a Blender user, you have to realize how good we have it. Like, programs that are like that run as efficiently as ours and for free are fucking rare, okay? And it's not industry standard. So if you want to get a job in it, you have to kiss a lot of those nice things goodbye, right? Because I fucking can't use Maya, and because of that, I've also had people ask me, do you want to use Source Filmmaker? And my answer is no, because I can still just do the same animation in Blender. It's literally the exact same thing. Right? The only reason I'd ever learned Maya is if I really needed a fucking job or something, and even then I have to relearn all those workflows again of like the controls. I mean, like a lot of the workflows with 3D are still the same. Obviously, they're all the same 3D program, but there's so much I'd have to relearn, and it's like, shit. Why can't I just stick with Blender, you know? But see, my issue with my work and my workflow is that I've worked alone forever, right? I've barely done collabs. Any collabs I've done with Stickman 2020 has just been adding an extra voice, and then maybe, like, was it in the Bankrupt video where I had my friend Takapaw make me pull together the assets for the city scene, right? But other than that, I really just largely work alone, and for that reason, because Blender is also technically new to being industry standard in general, there's still people who run these giant companies that have to figure out how to make, if they want to, like even invest the time, how to make Blender work with having a team of hundreds of people versus, oh, we already know how to do that with Autodesk Maya. Let's just do that, right? Even though the software is fucking garbage, right? Fuck Autodesk, dude. Where was I going with this? Obviously, I don't want to be like, what is it? This also goes into the whole thing about free software, where like, I use free software as much as I can, and I'm not trying to be like, everything should be open source, right? It's like, if you need to make money, go ahead, charge money for it, but if you charge too much money for it, expect to get torrented, right, dude? Because, like, I'm not paying $200 for FL Studio. Fuck that. I'm just gonna go use the infinite free trial of Reaper, and then maybe drop $60 for it, which is a lot more reasonable, right? But yeah, honestly, I'm all for, like, either free software, it doesn't have to be open source, either free software or just, like, software that costs as much as a video game. Not fucking $70 a month, Adobe head-ass, fuck you, Adobe, kill yourself. That kind of shit. No, I'm not saying for people who use Adobe to kill themselves, I'm telling Adobe to kill itself, okay? Please don't take that out of context. But, yeah. Because I only do this for fun, I can afford to say, no, I will not learn Maya. I won't be hurting myself like that. If I wanted to get a job, I will be committing literal suicide if I say, no, I don't want to learn Maya, I'm sticking with Blender. Because pretty much no job asks for Blender, right? Right, that's if I even want, and that's not even if, like, I were to make, what is it? If I were to use the Wavetro brand, I hate that fucking word. Use the Wavetro name to get a job, which I never want to do, right? This is never a... I've already established it after the Patreon incident last year. I just kind of realized I never want to do this 3D stuff for money. You know, unless I could, you know, stick to Blender, right? Oh, I mean, like, never want to do Wavetro stuff for money. If I do 3D stuff for money, I want to stick to Blender because it's what I fucking know, right? I just don't have the, given my life circumstances, it's just going to be a huge pain for me to relearn my 3D workflows and stuff like Maya or Cinema 4D or Source Filmmaker. I literally gain nothing if I learn Source Filmmaker. I'm just wasting time at that point because you could do the same animation stuff in Blender, so there's no point to learning that. Sorry if you love Source Filmmaker, but where was I going with this? Ooh, I got an awesome. That's epic. But yeah. Nope, no, I mean, obviously, more power to you if you use Cinema 4D or Maya or Source Filmmaker or whatever, right? You know, I'm pretty sure there's still great programs. I haven't used them, right? Oh, I've used Maya. I fucking hate Maya, but if you can put up with Maya, same way I tell people who still use Twitter, good for you, more power to you. I can't, okay? I can't deal with those programs. I'm just too spoiled by what Blender has given me over, like, these past 6 or 7 years of me doing 3D. I've lost count. It's like, how many years has it been? Like, 2014... 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20... Okay, nearly 7 years. Yeah, shit, I'm old. But, I think I'm talking in circles at this point, but... I feel like there's some... I'm getting that feeling again. I feel like I was supposed to say one last thing, but I don't remember what the fuck it was. You know what, I'm just gonna end it there. If there was, like, you know, you can always just write me another email if there's, like, some other thing you wanted me to answer. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. No shame to people who don't use Blender, but like I said, I can learn other programs for video editing or audio editing. I just can't relearn things for 3D with Blender. I'm stuck with Blender, and thank God it's a program that's free too, right? Just a me-specific issue. Ooh, okay, let's get started on the third one. Hey, George. Love the Jinjo cast. Your ramblings and thought vomit have been putting me to sleep this past week in a mental ASMR way, not a this is boring way. Thank you. Thank you for the clarification. Anyway, what's been the most fulfilling part of your internet presence thus far? Like fan art, stories of how your videos help someone through a rough time, creating a community, etc. Speaking of which, where's all the Jinjo Gaming fan art? I know there are plenty of talented people who watch these. Oh my god. You know what's a better question? Where's all the Stickman 2020 fan art? Because fucking... First of all, thank you if you've been making fan art. Like, in the last year, I got like 20 pieces of fan art, and then in the past 3 months, I've gotten 3 months, right? That's a fourth of a year. I got 40 fan art pieces. That's insane. But the thing I've noticed the most is that everyone just likes drawing Andy. Like, I guess it's easy to make fan art of him, right? Because, you know, K-Folder's like... No, actually, I don't understand why. I really don't understand why I get so much K-Folder fan art versus Stickman 2020. Maybe it's just because, like, K-Folder, people want it because it's just, like, hasn't been around for so long, and so people are thinking about it more than Stickman 2020, right? But Like, you know, I don't know how you'd make fan art out of Jinjomail, but fucking Stickman 2020, that needs more fan art. Holy shit, man. That had a full series. It had, like, it's the main, like, it's the main event of my entire channel, and I guess, you know, the thing I was looking for so long, like, the past couple of years, right? Where's the fan art of that, right? But, you know, I don't want to be out here saying, like, I won't make another video if you don't make fan art of my fucking characters free, right? I'm not gonna do that. If you're an artist, you know, you have other shit to take care of, don't stress it, right? But, you know, if you're looking to make fan art, why not do a Stickman, man? I've gotten like 30 pictures of Andy. It's good. Andy's covered, all right? You'll get your K folder too soon, okay? But yeah, what's the other part of your question? Oh yeah, most fulfilling part of your internet presence so far. I am so glad you listed examples, because I think the big thing about having this internet presence I've had so far, especially in the past month, which I don't know why, but, you know, I was like crawling to 10k subscribers, and the moment I hit 10k, YouTube started recommending the frog video. Now I'm at 18k in a month. Jesus fucking Christ. It's like double growth. But I am so glad you listed examples, because it's really fucking hard to stop and smell the flowers when you're in the middle of, like, trying to grow or making stuff, you know. I'm really glad I took this year off. Which, by the way, if you're wondering, I won't be uploading on WaveTro again until 2020. Since I took this year, 2022, because I took this year off to worry about college and finding a job. But I'll be back next year. It's only like at the time when I'm like not working, do I really get to stop and realize how much love people have shown for the stuff I make, because you don't really realize, and this goes for everyone. If you made one video and you got like one comment of love, or if you have like maybe a small presence and you only have a handful of nice comments, or even if you're a giant celebrity watching this and you get nice comments like 50 a day, I'm telling you, we all need to do this, me included. I don't do it enough. You need to go back and reread those comments. You need to go back and look over that fan art again, because you never really get to appreciate it while you're blowing up, because you're so busy focusing on the work, and you like, all you really see is just like that number growing. Like I remember telling someone the first time my Stickman video series blew up while I was making it. Blew up in the sense of that I finally surpassed the subscriber count of my old channel, Cooler Now 123, which was at like 1,300 subscribers, and I spent years trying to catch up to that number again, but with 3D and on a new channel. When I first surpassed that number again, I felt like I'd basically, you know, made it. And what it felt like to me anyway, it was kind of like getting thrown into like a. This is gonna be a really, really weird example, but this is the best way I can describe what finding success for me for the first time was like. I know that sounds really fucking pompous, but hey, that was the question, right? It was kind of like getting thrown into a swimming pool on a really sunny day. Shit. Kind of like getting thrown into a swimming pool on a really sunny day, and all you can really hear as you're just kind of floating down there underwater is just the sound of the water rushing, like the sunlight of the pool waves just like reflecting all over the inside of the pool, and you hear in the faint distance all the people are saying good job, you made it, and all the new subscribers just faintly ringing out, and like the sound of that through the water. And it's like you don't really know how to feel, because it just came so quickly, and it's like a shock, and you never really fully absorb it happening. And I'm sorry if that was my visual example of what the feeling felt like. I'm sorry if that literally did nothing for you. Saying what, you were underwater in a pool when you're trying to drown yourself when you blew up? Like no. But I'm basically trying to sum up that you just never really fully realize it, that you actually made it. Right? It's sort of like a shock, and maybe you might go your entire life never fully absorbing it. But like the moment you actually stop and go back and oh shit, the moment you actually stop and go back and actually look at whether it's, you know, 1 comment or 10 comments or 100 comments or 1,000 nice comments written about you, only then do you realize, holy shit, I grew so much. I actually built up, like, whether it's 100 subscribers, that fills up 3 classrooms, 1,000 subscribers, that could fill a stadium, 10,000, etc., right? You only really, like, absorb that if you actually go back and look. Which is why, like, if you were to ask me this question without naming those examples, I would be like, I don't really know. I can only tell you what I remember from when I last looked at all my comments, like, properly sat down and looked at the comments and the fan art and the love and the numbers and all that, right? Is that, like I said, so, sorry, I'm, like, building up to, like, this really long intro to this answer, but the thing I'm trying to basically say is, you never really fully absorb the fact that you blow up. And it's unhealthy if you never remember to go back and look at how far you've come, because otherwise you're gonna start self-doubting yourself when you haven't even realized how much you've grown. All right, so to the person who wrote this, I know who you are, right? 'Cause obviously this is an anonymous show, but the person who wrote this, I'm telling you, dude, don't forget to look back at all the fan art and comments and how much you've grown over the past few years. It really fucking puts it into perspective if you're ever feeling down or you feel like you haven't gotten anywhere. Okay, so that said, now time for specific examples. Like I said, I have no favorite moment as my internet presence because I constantly have a lot of really good moments whenever I do remember to look back. Well, honestly, I actually only really have one, but it wasn't even for Wave Trail. I'll get to that. But let me go by let me go by the list you gave me here. Which, by the way, thank you so much for that, so I can actually remember all the times I've actually looked back. Let's see, fan art. Favorite fan art. I don't really have a favorite fan art. A lot of people just been drawing this stuff like in the past year, or you know, maybe making stuff in like Lego, maybe making stuff in 3D, maybe making stuff in real life. Maybe making a fan animation, maybe making fan translations, right? That's all. I always love seeing all of that. It's really, I really don't want to pick a favorite from that, right? So I'm just gonna leave it off at that. But I always love when I get that stuff, and it's also especially so cool when like whenever I open up my Discord server. Which, by the way, server regulars, you know what I said earlier. But it's always nice when I open up my Discord server and someone just decided, hey, I'll just draw Andy today. I know your channel's been dead for months, but, you know, I still felt like it. And it's like, oh, shit, you remembered me. Oh, my God, thank you. And then I put it in the big fan art folder, and I move along with my day, you know. And then, you know, I obviously, whenever I do remember to go back and look through that stuff, then I can fully appreciate all the work everyone did for me. Like, they took time out of their day to just depict my character. And it's like, wow, that's really fucking sweet, dude. Thank you so much. Oh, shit, that sounds so sarcastic. No, I meant that genuinely. I meant that genuinely. Oh, my God. Let's see. Stories of how your videos help someone through a rough time. Okay, I haven't really... I think just because it's new, like I said, the reason why there's probably like a lack of fan art and a lack of... maybe not a lack of like heartfelt comments, but just like... Actually, yeah, this is sounding really weird, but I only really get stories of people really showing their passion for the stuff I make for like K-Folder and the fan art with K-Folder, and like, you know, how much more Andy stuff I get versus Stickman 2020, just because I think that show is older and has been around longer. I think once Stickman 2020 is around a little longer, I'll start getting more fan art of that again, hopefully, and I'll get more heartfelt comments of, hey, I came back because I really enjoyed these videos and they helped me through this hard time. Comments like that usually come like a long while after something has already, you know, released. But this actually goes into like the one fucking comment that, even though you tell me to remember all the times, all the times that I've enjoyed stuff that I've gotten from the internet presence, there's one moment that sticks out to me. Which, by the way, let me do a mini preface of that. I've also still gotten fan art when I was struggling with my robot underscore channel and trying to figure out 3D, which I also loved, right? And because I guess there's a lot more not more love put into each character versus me now, just like trying to get the video done with a blank stickman, right? I got a lot of really good fan art of my blue robot, a character for robot underscore back in the day. But even before then, what I really loved was Cooler Now 123 comments that I got, and that's, I think, honestly, because I was about to then, let me just tell you what my favorite fan interaction or thing I've gotten from someone who watched my videos ever was. And it's just straight up Cooler Now 123, right? Because, like I said, it's both a blessing and a curse that the people who love like my stop motions that I made as a kid with Go-Go's Crazy Bones, some obscure toy, right? The fact that people now, in this current year, 2021, like 11 years after I made the first one, are still making videos about the Go-Go's and the characters that I used when I made stop motions I made as a kid, right? That's fucking mind-blowing. But I remember, like, I don't know if it was 1 year or 2 years ago, because I still check the comments on that old Cooler Now 123 channel, but someone told me that as a kid, when I was making Cooler Now 123 videos, it was the way how they bonded with their mother. And they came back to the video to thank me for that, because the videos are how they remember their mother, because their mother has passed away since. And that fucked me up, like, holy shit. That comment, man. So that's why, like, he really pointed a gun at me and told me to pick one moment or one favorite thing, because it's so hard for me to remember them all the time, or overlook them because I'm just so busy trying to focus on the next thing I'm making. If you were to tell me to pick just one comment, fan art, interaction, whatever, that was my favorite from being on the internet, it's that, man. That just fucking takes the cake. That, like, breaks my heart in a, you know, good, bad way, bittersweet way. Just, holy shit. And my brain farted just thinking about just absorbing that for a fact. That's like my videos were used for someone to bond with their parent that is no longer with them. Holy shit. But yeah, I guess like that's probably the okay. If you're a Cooler Now Winter 3 fan watching this, like I said, I will always love how much you still try to keep the Go-Go's alive and stuff. And I'll save you a watch from the last video, because you saw in the last video is titled, Will I Ever Return to Cooler Now Winter 3? Alright, I'll save you a quick watch. The answer to that was, I might return to it at least once, at most once, at some point again, for like some revisit. But otherwise, it's best to probably just leave the Go-Go's to end. Like, their legacy is over, they had their 3-year run, and it's best to just, you know, leave them be. And I'm not talking about you and Go-Go's. Like, if you still want to make Go-Go's videos, go ahead, right? Keep them alive as long as you can. I'm talking about me revisiting Cooler Now Winter 3. Okay, that's enough of that heart-to-heart with Cooler Now Winter 3 fans. If you just discovered my channel, you're probably really fucking confused. But yeah, what's the other thing? Creating a community. I'll get into that. But yeah, before I get into my favorite part of creating a community, I guess I wanted to say that my favorite part of my favorite fan interaction or fan art or whatever was on my oldest channel, where someone commented all these years later that they thanked me for having the videos bond with their now dead mother. Okay, so favorite part of creating a community. I think, what is it? I'm really gonna call them the robot_ community, just because, like, excuse me, I've had people come and go who are regulars, and I see the faces a lot on, like, maybe Twitter or like or maybe on like YouTube. It's like, oh hey, it's the person with the Glaceon profile pic, or oh hey, it's Canary, or who changes his name every fucking day with the green swirly profile picture, or hey, it's, you know, I see people come and go. But the people who just never fucking left are the people from the original robot_ server who are still on my Discord server today. Mixed in with some new people, which I love, but, you know, there is like this group of people who still interact with each other like pretty much every day and do not want to fucking leave. Like, I remember when I left the internet for a while, they were kind of in a mess for a bit, because honestly, it's surprising. This goes with like even companies, or like, I guess, communities and servers in general. A lot of these things, groups of people can be really like tied together by one person or one thing, and I didn't really even see, and after I ended the robot_ channel, I never really saw I never really saw what that community was up to, or ever see them really come back all together again fully, until I came back and like did that Patreon server, which now became a public Discord server, which is now a invite-only server. Because I don't want to flush those people out, right? Because they were there when I was just my measly ass 400 subscribers on robot_, and they're still interacting there now, right? I don't want to like, because like, was it, even though my channel is still slowly like growing, right? If it ever like blows up, I didn't want like 1,000 new people to join the Discord server and just flush away their home, right? Which is why I went invite only. And fuck, where's I going with this? But yeah, it's just so nice, because like, what is it? The thing I tell you is, don't get like too close to your community, because then you'll also get roped into their drama and all that stuff. And it's really awkward when you're, you know, the person, the big YouTuber guy on the server roped into, like, you know, maybe their arguments or their qualms with each other or whatever, right? Just don't get too close to that. But obviously, if you're a really small creator with even some semblance of a community, I say just go all in and interact with them as much as you can while you still can. Because obviously one day you'll be like, okay, now I'm kind of too big, or maybe the community is too complex for me to directly interact with it, and it's going to be unhealthy if I keep doing this, because then it could be awkward if, you know, some drama or whatever else happens, and I'm just kind of roped into it, and when I have to be focusing on making videos, right? But for like, you know, the small timers, there's something that the giant YouTube creators will never have, or at least if they didn't attempt to have it before, they'll never have it again, and that is having just like, you know, tight-knit community of just like people who just like love to interact with you because of the stuff you make, right? So don't worry too much if you're not growing on on YouTube or Twitch or what have you, right? If you have some people, enjoy that while you can, because maybe one day you'll blow up, and then you won't be able to have that anymore. And you might be thinking, fucking Christ, George, you only had 18,000 subscribers. Why do you think you're too famous to not interact with your server directly? Which I say, like, one, good fucking point, but two is just because, like, I've already had too many incidents, and, like, you know, my server was kind of the point where it's like, okay, listen, I would love to interact with each of you individually. I don't want to keep interacting with you as a group, though, because, you know, this also goes back to my argument against Twitter. It gets really messy when you, like, try to put all your favorite friends together in one space, and, like, they're all trying to, like, be heard in, like, this centralized communication space, and it can bring out the worst in people. So, like I said, send me an email, send me a Discord DM. I will always love talking to people one-on-one, but as a group, well, there's a point where it just gets too messy to just, like, keep being so active with everyone as a group versus, you know, individually. Which is kind of why I also started this show, you know. It's like, hey, I don't really send 20 messages on my server anymore and interact with everyone as I used to, but that doesn't mean you can't talk to me. I'll put the email on the screen later, as usual, but yeah, hope that all answers your question. Oh, I nearly said your real name there. Person. Moving on. Okay, so I'm gonna put a warning before we continue. I'm gonna drink some water. My head hurts. Warning before we go on to these next two questions, we are going into rambling territory. These two questions are really good, and I cannot think of an actually good answer for them, so I'm just gonna ramble aimlessly, and I might go in circles a lot, and it might seem just like a big fucking mess, but that's because, like, I really don't know how to fully answer these questions unless you gave me, like, a full, like, 2 or 3 weeks to really think about them, because, like, they're really fucking good questions. So we're entering ramble territory, just letting you know. Okay, so the final two questions are... Ooh, this is a nice map. Let me save that before I actually start. Save. Let me put the number on screen if you want to play it at home on your own copy of Superflight. If I can get to it. There it is. Anyways, ramble territory. What are your thoughts on cringe culture? Lads on Twitter praise a popular, but then dislike it because of kids starting to like it too. Then they make fun of all those kids that like it. It's obviously people being shitty, but what are your thoughts on it? And then he attaches a video to Ellis Mark's video about the death of cringe culture. And then I would just like to hear what you think about it. From some random lad. Alright, so here goes my really long and rambly non-answer. I just wanted to open this up by saying, I watched the Ellis Mark video and I feel very fucking called out. He fucking called me the fuck out. Because, for a while, especially in 2016, you know, the golden Filthy Frank era, I was really big into, like, the cringe culture thing, right? I had that fucking hipster complex of, stupid fucking Undertale people, fucking Markiplier fans, fucking hate PewDiePie, what the shit? Right? All that shit in, like, 2015, 2016. I thankfully did not go as far as, what is it? I was basically, my level of edge at that point was iDubbbz, but it wasn't Leafy. Leafy was fucking, that was, like, way too much. That's, like, just isolated, pure cringe culture, right? Kind of a shame. I remember watching his Twitch stream once saying, I want to hear him talk about stocks, but, you know, it's just him going, hey guys, it's me, Leafy, you know, it's like, alright, no shit, he got banned, but, actually, I don't really know why I don't know what he did on Twitch streams, but whatever the case, Leafy was not as far as I bought into it, but I did buy into cringe culture, because, honestly, I don't think I actually was into it for the same reasons as everyone else, but I can say for sure now that very, very recently, or like past year or two recently, I think just because as you grow as an adult, you kind of start to pick up on this, or maybe it's just the nature of the internet just getting so fractured and decentralized in general, but, oh, excuse me, lately, I've been just kind of oblivious to things that are cringe now, and I don't even realize they're cringe until much later, which is why it's so well timed that Ellis Mark's video comes out and says, like, yeah, thank goodness this is gone, right? But even though there's still, like, a part of me that still kind of avoids popular things that have largely child audiences. And so I'm going to attempt to explain myself why, right? So in that video, like, excellent video, right? Pretty much a lot of what he said was really good. The thing that fucking made me get called out and really want to stop and debate with myself for a bit there a second was when Ellis Mark said, I'm going to put the link to this video in the description, by the way, was when Mark said, how insecure do you have to be to not like something that just because a bunch of kids also like it online, right? To which I've thought about this, to which I respond, because I don't want to fucking interact with the fan base online. Listen, even Mark in that video acknowledged it. Kids can be very fucking dumb, right? I'm sorry if you're a kid if you're watching this. I'm not here to offend you on that front. But the thing is that, like, you know, kids are still kind of figuring it out, and when you figure it out on the internet, no shit that every single mistake you're making in social cues, in when it's appropriate to passionately talk about this thing or that thing, or when you should do this or that, is going to get criticized by people who are older than you, that have learned these social cues and learn how to, like, you know, interact with people normally and not overflow with passion and spill it everywhere and spam it everywhere at every single second, right? And I think, and I think Mark might be against this, but I think everyone should go through that, right? I think everyone needs to be called cringe or stupid at some point, because that's the only way you learn how to, like, you know, become aware of other people's subtle social cues and when to talk about interest versus when to just, like, you know, just like be less intense about your personality, right? And of course, when it comes, and I think I've only really, like, what is it? Because let me get into the example of what made me realize lately that I've kind of exited the cringe culture sphere. Is that it was when okay, let me do the three-tiered example. I'm gonna give you an example of something that I bought into completely without realizing it was cringe. Something I still fucking kind of hate, even though it's not as bad as before, or my perceptions of cringe fan bases before. And then one thing I just completely did not understand it was cringe until later. So something I completely bought into without realizing it was cringe was Fall Guys back in August. Like, I fucking love that shit. I played it to death. I didn't realize that, like, there's even people saying, bro, why are you playing this stupid kids game? Oh, you fucking stupid ass cringe baby nay, right? Like, I'm completely oblivious to that. I don't think I've ever even seen a lot of people call it, like, cringe or anything, right? So I can't say much about that. Among Us, on the other hand, I fucking despise how much I saw Among Us stuff everywhere. Like, oh, corpse husband talking a dark voice. Oh, Among Us. Ooh, sus, right? Obviously, it in a way that meme suddenly became good again just because of how, like, people see it. Oh my god, that shape looked like Among Us, or haha, sus vent. Just, like, ironically, to the point of just, like, adding so many layers of irony. But that's besides the point. And then the third example, because I'm going to explain to what the reason why I even thought about cringe in the first place. The third example is Friday Night Funkin'. This is when I really realized, oh, okay, shit, something has definitely changed in me. It was when I saw Friday Night Funkin', you know, the game on Newgrounds, which I thought, oh wow, good for Newgrounds blowing up. But I saw the game blowing up, and I was like, oh, it's just an animated DDR. I don't know why it's blowing up, but okay, right? And I thought, wow, this game is really blowing up. I didn't think people would still be interested in, like, you know, online Flash games of any kind, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. But I think it's just because I've left Twitter, I didn't really see that when I later talked to people saying, like, oh, you know, fucking stupid ass Friday Night Funkin' fans. Like, wait, what do you mean? It's just this DDR Flash game, and then they give me, like, this image of, like, this barrage of original characters and recolored boyfriend characters of things, and it's like, yeah, look at this shit, and it's like, oh, okay. And for some reason, normally I would be bothered by that, but I wasn't. I was like, huh, what happened? Am I actually a normal, functioning, decent human being now? And honestly, I think I could connect that with having known that, having my experience with, Among Us, having seen Mark's video, and not so much the Fall Guys thing. That was just kind of anecdotal. Excuse me again. Pulling it all together, I think honestly the reason why I was ever into cringe culture was just because I was really, it wasn't because I wanted to just hate on a popular thing. No, hang on. I still have part of a hipster complex, right? But I'm going to explain how I deal with it rather than telling people online, oh, you like Friday Night Funkin'? You like Undertale? Cringe, right? The thing is, like, I don't know if it's some kind of, I think it's really just a specific issue with my problem and my stupid ass, but I just really took issue to, like, things that get, like, constantly repeated and overblown so much on the internet, right? Or specifically centralized places like Twitter, which I guess why ever since I left Twitter I've been a lot better as a person. Again, regardless of whether you use Twitter or not, does not determine if you're a good or bad person or whatever, right? It's just, I've just been a better person for not using Twitter, because I really don't function with that kind of so much noise and centralized trends and all that shit. But I really, really, really loved to just, like, shit on people saying, you like this thing, you didn't put any effort into the thing you like, and you're like a popular thing, haha, hipster complex, haha, yeah, you suck, right? I don't know if that's what cringe culture really is, because I thought at the core of cringe culture, looking back, is just, hey, popular thing, hate on it, right? But maybe it is just that, right? It's just kind of like that fucking thing of like, haha, you don't put any effort into finding something you like. You found this easy, accessible thing. You suck, right? I just had it. I don't know why I had that. Maybe it's just because I really can't put it into words. I think it's just because I was a teenager, and I think that's because a lot of cringe culture, you know, and the victims of cringe culture, like on both ends, are usually teenagers and young kids, right? And don't know how long it'll take for it to grow out, but the thing that's important about cringe culture is that you just kind of learn what oversaturation is, right? When you learn that something just gets obnoxiously spammed too much, like fucking K-pop in the replies, 2019, man, Christ. But you just kind of like, obviously, at some point you just kind of go like, you know what? These people are just kind of express themselves and figure it out on the world of the internet. Let me just kind of leave them alone, which, you know, ideally, if you want to do that, like, I don't think anyone watching this really still buys into cringe culture, because I think everyone has kind of like sort of made this mental shift in their own over the past year or two, just because the internet has been getting so fractured recently, and the only like thing, because like there's just fewer and fewer things that everyone hears about at the same time, because like the only really centralized stuff on Twitter now are like fans of Twitch streamers and Minecraft YouTubers and shit like that. But now that I realize that Amazon might buy Twitter, huh? That'd be something. Anyways, don't quote me on that. That's just a guess. It only makes sense, 'cause that's literally the only kind of creator I ever see, like, other than like, you know, depressing world news or like protests and buildings getting trashed for the 10 billionth time happening or whatever. I just really don't respond well to shit, dead end. I just never really responded well to like something being popular. Normally, I think maybe there's a part of it, some like unresolved thing in my head where I felt like left out for not knowing about it sooner or whatever else. I can't really put it into words. So, person who wrote this, I'll tell you this much: yes, I had bought into it. No, I'm no longer buying into it. But let me tell you, for anyone else who is just, I mean, like, I think it's fine. I think it's totally okay to be sick of things being like spammed or posted everywhere too much, right? Because like, I think going viral, unless you're in it for like some other motive like money or whatever, going viral isn't really something you want to do unless you want to be just known for like some surface level thing, because like growth leaves as fast as it comes, which is why you want, like, you know, something to slowly grow over time so it's more sustainable versus blowing up for like the frog video and then only being known for the frog video or something. I hope that doesn't happen, but I doubt it's going to happen. The Stickman videos have also been getting views, thank fuck, right? But yeah, so to everyone else who's still like, you know, obviously don't fucking go out of your way to bully. Don't make cringe compilations. That's just such a fucking waste of time. It's just as stupid as the kids who are socially unaware of like how they're like being too much with their interests, right? But honestly, I think at some point everyone's been part of or still is part of something that has been labeled cringe, and you just kind of learn to own it at that point. But it's also important to know, just to learn that self-awareness and just realize, saying like, yeah, sometimes I am coming off too strong and maybe need to hold my tongue or wait until I get the signal before I can tell people how much I love, I don't know, Sonic or Melee or fucking, I'm trying to think of other things, but yeah, there's like, everyone at some point gets lumped into a fan base that gets called cringe, and I think everyone has to experience it at least once, like while they're growing up. So you know the self-awareness of not just like, it's like, what is it? Of course, I think it's great for people to empower themselves through a special interest they really love, but it's also important to learn at some point where you can't relate every single conversation and every single person you ever do to that special interest. Do not make one thing your personality. It gets very obnoxious to people, right? Like, I mean, basing your personality off of really superficial things. Like, what is it? If you're still figuring it out as a kid, obviously that's fine. Like, you just have to remember that at some point you have to realize, okay, I know that people get annoyed by this, and then from there it can be like, do I want to like come off as strong to people, or do you want to just become like or do you just want to like double down and be like, yeah, I know this pisses you off, hey, check this out, Yeah, I'm the Sonic guy. Haha. I'll suck my nuts. Ha. Right. You know, both, like I said, both are equally good paths to go down, but you have to, like, you know, experience cringe culture first, which is why I think it should stick around, like, a little bit. It's really hard to say, because obviously, you know, it's still bad to just, like, get fucking bullied so much, but it just it should just, it's really gotta, like, everyone's just gotta learn at some point or another when they're growing up and figuring things out on the internet, to learn learn about these social mistakes and stuff like that. It's like, because that's a normal part of being on the internet. What's the point of, like, growing up if you're never allowed to make mistakes and then get told how to, or not get told, or learn from that, you know? It's fine to, like, don't worry if you're being too cringe as a kid or something, or maybe, see how weird of a double-edged sword this is. Maybe don't worry too much about being a cringe kid. You're still a kid, and you can go ahead and make as many, do whatever you want and learn as you go. Don't listen to other people's advice too much, so you can actually see for yourself what really applies to your life and what doesn't, right? Yeah, but at the same time, I think it's important that, like, teasing of some kind just happens sometimes, so you're at least self-aware of, hey, this is what most other people who are first introduced to this thing I like see this as, right? And they're a piece of shit if they're still not willing to, like, just slowly be introduced to it by me, if I do it in a way that isn't, like, being spammed everywhere, like on Twitter or in YouTube, or in real life at, like, a Minecraft convention filled with kitties or something, right? But oh god, you can see why I put a ramble warning on this. I'm, like, trying to, like, say 30 different ways of my point, right? How it's like, yeah, I'm glad cringe culture is is dying, but I still hope people on the internet, especially those who are still growing up, learn about social cues and, you know, just embrace being young and not knowing what to do yet, and just remember to learn from, you know, any mistakes or road bumps that you run into and shit like that, you know? And the only other thing I wanted to mention, just as, like, a fucking shitty jab at Mark, like, oh, why are you so interested in kids, bro? What the fuck? Okay, I'm kidding. That's a stupid jab, right? You know, fucking, yeah. He has a point. He has a point, though. Don't, for everyone else who, like, thinks things are cringe because kids are now really into them, just wait a while. Eventually, that thing will just mature a bit. Like, this is, like, the one thing that also plays into the cringe culture answer, right? It's just that, have you ever noticed how, like, a game starts out good, then it gets universally hated, and then it's universally loved again? Like, you know, take, like, Minecraft. Even though I really fucking... Honestly, the fan bases for Minecraft streamers and YouTubers will calm down and become a lot, and you'll be able to appreciate them more in, like, a year or two when they don't have the spotlight of the world. But you saw it with Undertale, right? You know how people are just, like, universally bashed on Undertale fans, saying, why are you making these really awkward and just... God, I'm really trying to avoid the use word cringy. These really overly passionate and coming off too strong creations so much, guys. Oh my god, cringe, right? And then, like, eventually, you know, when that shit isn't viral, because, like I said, I think being viral isn't a... Holy shit! Oh my god, that was sick. Being viral is a lot more of a curse than a blessing, right? Because now that Undertale no longer has the spotlight, people can now really go back and enjoy it for what it is. And same with Minecraft, right? Remember when it first came out, and then, like, oh, cringe kids, and then it got good again, and then maybe it might have an insufferable fan base now, but, like, it's gonna get good again, right? So yes, Mark is right. Don't let the idea of kids enjoying the same thing you do turn you off from a thing completely. It will be normal again. Don't worry, right? And so you see how you kind of have to fill in the blanks and decide how much of this shit you want to care about versus how much it actually matters and all that shit. Like I said, everyone will take away a different thing to do from this answer. But yeah, bottom line is, I'm glad cringe culture is going away. But it was a good way to teach everyone about self-awareness. When you learn about self-awareness, what you decide to do from there with your online presence is for you to decide. You just need to be aware of it. You just need to be aware of people's first impressions on you. Because sometimes if you're interested in something that's currently viral at the time, people will likely have a lower or more annoyed first impression of it. And there's nothing you can do about that until, like, a little more time later when things cool down. I hope that answers it, because at this point I probably talked so much about it and probably talked in circles a bunch that I should move on move on to the next, and yeah, the final question of the day. I just need to get a new map. Hang on. But yeah, that was a really interesting question that was that you asked, because this person didn't mean to send this question, and they did anyway by accident, and I thought it was probably one of the most interesting questions I've gotten on this show, because I don't know how to fucking answer it. But or at least I tried to, right? As I really didn't have an answer until I talked to myself for a while back there. So that was like the first time I was coming up with the answer. But let's move on. Thank you again for that question. Really good question. Final question. What's up, George? Hope you're doing well. My birthday's coming up, and recently something related to that dawned on me, which I think would be a good set of questions for the show. If you feel comfortable answering this, when's your birthday? I don't feel comfortable answering that. Let me just tackle this email one bit at a time. But let me start by saying I used to give out my birthday, full birthday, as a kid. Right? It was like everybody's business. And then later on, I learned about like identity theft or like people doxing and horrible shit like that, and I became very hyper aware of the information I gave out online. So now I no longer tell people when my birthday is. The most I'll tell you is that I am currently 21, and you can do the math to figure out the birth year, but that's all you're going to get from me now. Maybe if you dig enough, you'll find something I forgot to take off the internet of my birthday and shit like that. But fuck, where was I going with this? Yeah, I really don't like giving out too much about myself, lest I put myself in a really vulnerable spot. And, you know, like I said, I've already accepted my fate that one day, no matter what, the internet is a crafty motherfucker, and you will get doxxed, no matter what, right? It's just a matter of, you better hope that that happens to you when you're an adult, when you can handle it, versus, like, as a teenager. Imagine getting doxxed and swatted as a teenager. That's fucking terrifying for you and your family. So be fucking careful about what you give out there, right? Don't give out your... Honestly, giving out the birthday might not be as bad as it is, because like I don't know how much people can dox you with just a birthday. I mean, the worst shit that could really happen to you is like, you know, a full name or like a location specific enough to find you, right? Like I say, I'm from New York City because New York City is a big fucking place, and I don't think you're going to be able to find me that well. I mean, obviously you'll have hints of it here and there, right? But I don't try to make it. I try to keep a tight lid on it otherwise. Oh, excuse me. But let's go to the next part of your question. I know you like to keep most of your personal info private. Yep. So don't worry about answering that one if you don't want to. Yep. As that question actually made me think of another, even better question. What information do you personally feel should be kept off? What personal information do you personally feel should be kept off of the internet, and what information do you think is okay to put online? Also, what might be the benefits or downsides to having more or less info on the web? Thanks for the read, and good luck with your last bit of college as well as your future projects, as I'll be sure to tune into them as soon as they're released. Thank you! For anyone new to the Wave Drop channel, like as in like past month new, if you're not aware, I'm not coming back to that channel until 2022 because I'm currently finishing up college and then trying to take some time off to find a job. Right, so I'll be back next year. So if you're wondering why I'm posting on here instead of making videos for there. That said, so let's talk personal info. Something that I also put in the rambling section because I don't really know how much of an answer I can get because I didn't prepare a list of like different kinds of personal info and I can go like yes, no, yes, and no, shit like that, right? But let me get some water first. Oh, okay. So personal info. Let me start by echoing what I had said in a previous Superfly video about people who already kind of put so much of their personal life and face out there. You can't really take that back, but you can try, but it might still be floating out there. To those people, I say, if you're worried about it now, it's probably best to just embrace it, and because there's pros to revealing that much about yourself. And there really is, but let me talk about this actual question first. So personal information. I'm going to try to list off as much personal information as I can and try to say like, yes, bad idea, yes, good idea, shit like that. But honestly, the thing you have to keep in mind is that you really should not give out enough for people to put together who you are and track you down, right? It's a really weird balance. You might never really know how to figure it out, but that's really the goal. You can put out some things, but if you put out too much of that thing, people can find you, and you don't want to put. Maybe you might not want to put out certain things versus other things, right? It's this whole delicate balance, so your mileage may vary. That said, let me try to list off the top of my head. So, first name. I think first name is fine, right? I don't like people calling me Wavetro in a VC or, excuse me, God forbid, Wavetro in real life. It's like that's just my online name. You can call me George. All right. I don't know why I find it weird, but other people just fully embraced it. Like, oh, excuse me. Like, I know I see this with, like, Twitch streamers all the time where they just call each other by their username like it's their first name casually. People, you know, are just kind of used to it. Even though to an outsider, it's like, what the fuck kind of name is Fitz or Schlatt? I've never heard of that shit. What kind of schizo-ass names, right? So, what is it? Since I always like to take a factor of how my stuff appears to people outside of YouTube culture and shit like that, I like being called by my first name. So I just put it out there, George. That being said, this is like, even though it's okay to put this out, this is like part of a, this is like, fuck, I'm blanking out. This is like one of those things where if you put too many things together of things that are okay to share, eventually it might not be okay to share once they're all pulled together, because then you can like figure out who someone is. That said, I think first name is fine. Last name, never, no, don't. Because once you have the first name and the last name, it's like, uh-oh, just if all they need is location, just look you up in like fucking public records or something, and boom, there's your address. Boom, you're burned. People know where you are. Ah, shit, you're done. Don't ever share the last name, right? So for the people who oh wait, that actually leads me into another thing. Face. Also, don't do that. That's not because people can use that to track down where you live. It's just that now people will always know what you look like if they do see you in real life, and it'll follow you around forever if you ever decide to use your face on the internet again, right? Face is like a big one. You don't want to... I mean, like I said, I've accidentally leaked my face before as like it's like a kid on my older channels. I've since, like, you know, erased that trail and nuked it to shit, but I know it's still floating out there, right? It will come back to haunt me, right? And where was I going with this? Yeah, otherwise, you don't want to put that out there. It's just a fucking terrible idea. People will also be able to immediately come to conclusions about you, like saying, oh, this person looks like this. I'm going to make this assumption about them. Like, I know that sounds like, you know, maybe even ageist or racist, but that's how people work. It's like, oh, wait, a kid made this shit? Oh, I'm not watching this. Stupid fucking kids. Or like, yeah, a kid made this. It's going to be weird if I watch this, you know. It's a weird balance. It's like you don't want to let in too much people. You don't want to let in too much for people to make conclusions about you, right? So, which is why I recommend against last name and face. Big no-nos. Don't do that. But if you're a streamer, right, or you're totally comfortable with, like, you know, your face being memed everywhere, if that happens one day, then go ahead and use that face, right? So let me take back what I said earlier. Let me roll it back. Face is okay if you think you're okay with seeing your face plastered everywhere again in general, right? Because I know streamers are going to show their face. So it's like, okay, just remember, you can't take that back. Your face is out there forever. Can't change your name. People will see the face. They'll know you. And don't be upset if people start memeing your appearance to shit, right? What you put on the internet is what's going to get bullied, right? You have to accept that. For everyone else, don't put your fucking face out there, right? So yeah. First name's okay. Last name, really never fucking do it. And then face, don't do it unless it applies specifically to you in some way, right? Address, I shouldn't have to fucking say this one. Don't fucking use your real address as like a PO box address or something, right? That goes without saying. People just straight up know where you live. You'd be a gigantic retard to put your address out because you'll never have privacy again. I guarantee it. And even something to watch out for P.O. boxes, because you have to drive to the post office to get it. Don't open a P.O. box until, like, you know, you're an adult or you move down to your own place or you actually have enough of a fan base to warrant that security risk, because a P.O. box gives people a general idea of where you live. So don't do it. Like I said, if maybe that now gets into location. So the thing about location is that it's totally fine to say what country you live in, right? Because, you know, country's big. People aren't going to find you from there. So it'd be interesting. Like, oh, yeah, I'm from Paraguay, or I'm from Taiwan. It's like, oh, cool. You know, that's nice. That's you know, it's not weird or anything, because, like, you can't be like, aha, I know you're in this location. I'm going to triangulate your house and carpet bomb your fucking basement or something, right? It's like, it's not enough. So when it comes to location, right, just want to get, you should only get as specific as enough for you to still be lost within that area. So if you say like United States of America, no one is going to be searching the entirety of United States of America for you. It's too big, right? You can even go as far as say, oh, I'm from Alabama, or I'm from California. A state is also fucking enormous. People aren't going to come through that. Okay, don't say that if you're in Delaware, Rhode Island, or New Hampshire, or Vermont. Those states are probably fucking tiny. I mean, maybe it is okay, but like, if a state is like big enough to hide in, then you can go ahead and say the state. Now, when it comes to city or town, for most of you, don't do that. But if you live in a giant city like I do, New York City, I can say, yes, I live in New York City, because that's still a very big place to live, right? So where do you need to watch out for? So obviously, don't get any more specific than a country, or maybe even a state, right? Really don't really say the city either, unless you're really confident that, you know, the city itself is big enough for you to hide in. Because what you really need to watch out for, because I say name is okay, general location is okay. It gets iffy when these start to get put together, because like now you know my name, now you know my location. That gives you a little more specificity of who I am in what area, and the more like data points of okay to share things you put out there, the more terrifying it gets. Because now you know, like, oh yeah, you don't know my exact birth date, so you can't do fucking identity theft on me. But you probably did the math and you know my birth year. So now you have my name, my birth year, and my city. Narrows it down even more. Do you see where I'm getting at with this, right? Like I said, I'm only willing to like share this now because, like I said, I feel more confident facing the consequences of the internet as an adult rather than as a teenager that could seriously harm my family if shit were to go down, right? I need a breath. Sorry. You can start to see how, like, yes, it's okay to give out certain things, but you don't want to give out too much to the point of where people be like, aha, I've triangulated your location. I'm going to drop a nuclear arsenal on your front lawn, right? Or I'm going to send several pizzas to your house and, like, prank call your home phone line and your grandma for eternity or some horrible shit, right? So, yeah, just be careful with, I know it's a stupid thing to say, be careful, right? Ideally, you never really want to share anything about yourself. Like I said, I've talked about how people give literally almost nothing said about who they are in my server, and it's like, wow, that's intense, right? Because this goes into like the people who say like, oh shit, I put my name out there, I put my full name out there, I put my state out there, I put like my birthday out there. What do I do? And to which I say the pros and cons of like giving out information about yourself. The more information you give out about yourself, the more people will trust you. I know, like, there's still the consequence of, oh, some internet troll is going to take my fucking data and harass me forever when they figure out where I live, or where I am, right? And it's like, that's a really small percentage of people. Not literally every single person on the internet, even if your parents have told you this as a kid, not every person on the internet is a psychopath saying, I wonder who put out their personal information today. Oh, look at this person. They're in this state. Let me get their address. Okay, now I'm going to go prank call them forever, right? No, it's not like that. And it's because a majority of people are actually normal on the internet, I hope. If you put out the more actual vulnerable information you put out about yourself, the more people will trust you. People are going to trust you if you already made the mistake of like putting your name, face, full name, face, and all that shit out there, because you know they know who you are. It's like, oh yeah, that's Brendan. I don't have to worry about him being like a completely different person or trying to be some fake or imposter on the internet, because I just literally see how he looks like. I can trust him. I know what he looks like, right? Sorry, I'm using Brendan Brofilms as an example. Hi, Brendan. But, well, I started going he, right? But, fucking, where was I going with this? My brain is so fried from talking so long. My lung capacity is shot. See how it's like a weird game of the more you put out, the more people will trust you, because you're making yourself vulnerable, so people realize, oh yeah, this person isn't like, doesn't have something to hide from me. Obviously you should, you know, hide a lot of your personal information from people, right? But, it fucking, my brain is really fucking going out on this one. You could see how, like, you can kind of see how it works with personal information now. Some things are totally okay, but don't put out too many things that are totally okay, or they'll all put together into something really bad. Some things are a stupidly terrible idea to put out, like last name, or even face in some cases. And this goes without saying, but if you put out your home address, you're a retard, right? But if you put out your general location that's specific enough for you to still kind of hide away in, then, you know, that's fine too. Just gotta remember that this shit can be permanent, right? I'm saying can be because, like, if you're a if you're like a tiny internet user, not some giant e-celeb or something, right? It's probably pretty easy for you to say, oh yeah, I put my personal info here, here, and here. Let me go take that down and then request a removal from the Wayback Machine if necessary, right? So for a lot of people, you could still try and like remove it, assuming that nobody has recorded it, right? But yeah. I'm starting to go in circles. Let me see if I can think of any more kinds of personal info before I wrap up the episode. Let's see. I talked about age, birthday. It's fine to give out your birthday. I mean, like I said, it only really gets scary if you also give out your name and location, because then people can then figure out, oh yeah, you're this person from this town in this address. Time to go pull identity theft on you or whatever, right? But and even then, you're like one drop in a sea of billions of internet users, so it's probably even not that likely anyway, unless you have a bigger internet presence. But yeah, I can't think of any other one. You can write to me again about this one if there's like, oh, what about this kind of personal information? I'll answer it really quickly. And yeah, I think I covered the. Yeah, my brain. I think it's time for me to wrap up this video. I'm running out of energy. It's 6:30 p.m. and I should really get this uploaded because it's already like, excuse me, by the time you're watching this, it's already Monday for Europe. So let me have everyone have a Sunday evening Jinjomail video instead of the very nice Sunday afternoon one you guys had last week. So yeah, those are all the questions that were written to me. Need this paper more. Pump that up. Okay, so for everyone else, you could say hi to me. I don't want to be some faceless stranger or some internet thing that I'm like untouchable or something. If you have a question you want to talk to me about, write to it at this email address right here on the screen. If the address is blurred, that means the show has either ended or the address has changed. And yeah, I'll answer it anonymously and for next Sunday. And yeah, I actually really like the color of this one. I hope you write to me because I really like doing this show. I like, you know, talking to people and giving them my thoughts on stuff rather than being some faceless person. What am I doing? Hit save. There we go. But yeah, I really like doing this show. I hope I can keep doing it for a while, right? But where is it? Did it save? Yep. Okay, it's saved. Yeah, I think that's gonna end it there. I'll see you next week.